Okay, well, okay.
Well, you didn't even know what a 6 was, so probably
Well,
not then.
I know what a 6 is. And a 4 is when they hit the barrier, but it doesn't go over.
So that's the bowler's end, yeah?
Right.
That's the batsman's end.
Yes.
Tell me where the silly point position is.
What? Is that something to do with the sticks?
The wickets.
I think you need to.
Right, can you not tell from the stitches?
Gosh, I mean I can, darling. You make that sound so dreadful. Right, hold back the crowd at a cricket match because they're going to surge onto the pitch after they've had their tea and scones.
So that is 3 ridges, or is that 4 ridges?
Well, where's the 4th ridge?
There?
No, that's not it.
Welcome to the Bakery Bears podcast. Yay! And yeah, it's a bit cold and it's a little bit windy and it's slightly boggy because we're walking on a very cool street called Deer Street. What's happening in the next few episodes, Kay?
Well, Dan, we'll be filming a series. We're going a bit fast. Filming a series of 3 little segments about Rome and Britain.
Cool.
First one today is here at Piercebridge. Second one will be at Chester's Roman Fort. And the third will be at Walltown Crags. And I've just walked into a really boggy bit.
Oh no.
And I have.
Let's get through this bog. Today though, we are, as Kay said, at Piercebridge. And we are the 2nd Augustan Legion. And what are we doing, Bryony? We're marching to Scotland. And Bryony is actually Agnes Agricola. She is our commander. Yeah, you are. You're our commander. So, we are on Deer Street. And this street ran all the way from York. And if you remember, we visited York. What episode was that? That was about episode 15, I think it was.
I think so.
So we visited York, and this road starts at York and it goes all the way to Scotland. And we're the 2nd Augustan Legion. We're on our way to Scotland, but we need somewhere to camp for the night. And where we're going to camp is Piercebridge Roman Fort. It's the year 79 AD, so Hadrian's Wall won't even be built for another 42 years, and Agricola is leading his legions to Scotland to try and tame the Scots. But we've already come through some really dangerous land, because back there is Stannic Brigantes Palace. Now the Brigantes were some native British who pretended to like the Romans but then were pretty nasty quite often. So we've come past the Brigantes and now we've hit our next challenge, and our next challenge is the River Tees. How are we going to cross? Well, we're going to cross over a great big bridge. I think we should go have a look at that now. Now, what was a legion? A legion was a collection of Roman soldiers. It was made up of 10 cohorts. The first cohort was double strength, so it had 160 men. All the other cohorts had 80 men within them. Now, each cohort also had 120 horsemen as well, so when they were in the field fighting, the horsemen would be used for sending messages. At this point, the cavalry wasn't really used for fighting. Now, as I said, we've come up against a bit of a problem, because behind me is the River Tees, and the River Tees is a fast-flowing river. So how are the Romans going to cross? They're going to cross by using a bridge. Now, the Romans were very, very clever at building bridges. They invented concrete, and they built bridges that effectively probably would have taken cars today. And the reason why they would have done is, if you think about the size of that legion, you're talking about 5,500 men. Those 5,500 men marched in formation, so it was fairly wide. They needed something big to go over, and they needed something that would take a lot of weight. And what we're going to show you now is the remainder, I'm going to go down and have a real close look at it, of only the second bridge that still remains today from Roman times. And there was obviously loads when the Romans were here. If you think about it, this bridge was built 19 centuries ago. So Pierce Bridge, Roman bridge, leads to Pierce Bridge Roman Fort, which we're marching to as we speak. But let's have a look at the bridge. So the course of the river has actually changed in the hundreds and thousands actually now years since the Romans were here and built this bridge, and now we find ourselves walking down into the riverbed itself. And what we see behind us are the slabs that were laid by the Romans in the riverbed that they mounted their wooden structure above. Now the bridges back then were of semicircular design, and I'll put a picture up now so you can see what I mean. It's a very, very big structure, and I think Kay has actually found the slots that the structure used to slot down into to hold it in place. Let's go find her now and have a look. Kay, you found something?
Sorry, I'm showing Brian the snow. Look.
What have you found?
Well, there's a huge, great big slabs
Perfect.
with big, I suppose it must have been where the structure
That's exactly right.
slotted into the stones.
That's right. Now, did you find another one as well?
There's loads.
Show us some
There's
more.
one there. There's one there.
Bryony's found one as well.
Here. There's one there. They're all over. All of them are covered in these grooves.
Which is, you're exactly right, that's where the structure used to slot down in.
This is where you can see it on
Show
the
us another one.
ground. Here,
Wow.
hole, another little slot and a hole. So I'm presuming, like you say, that's where the
That's exactly right.
structure of the bridge, because
Yeah.
the bridge would have been wooden, is that
That's right. It was. I've just been saying actually, it's of semicircular design, so very
Right.
much like the bridges that we see today. And in each corner of semicircle, it's slotted down into these that were laid by the Romans deep in the riverbed.
But they're enormous blocks. They must have been massively heavy.
This was
to
a seriously
move.
robust bridge.
Yeah, I mean they're properly massive blocks.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know that this was here,
No, I
really,
know,
did we?
I know.
And we live 15 minutes away. I
And
mean,
it, just
it's
to
crazy, really.
to give you some geography, as we've said, York lies back down Deer Street that way. Scotland lies that way. It's about 80 miles up the road this way, and we live, as Kay says, about 10 or 15 minutes over that way, so it's not far at all. And this is the first time we've been here. So, as we've said, this is a riverbed, and what do you find in a riverbed? Kay spotted. What have you got?
What have I got? Well, I just said to Dan at first when we came down here, I thought that, you know, when they excavated this, that maybe they put all these pebbles down to kind of make it look pretty. But actually, I don't think that's the case. I think this is the riverbed, because all the stones around, like they are on a riverbed, because they get tumbled around in the water and get all smooth. So I think this would have been the original riverbed.
It is.
Right.
It is. That's what it said. It said to look out for the pebbles.
Right.
And something we've got to look out for later on as well is these pebbles were often used as footings for some of the buildings, and the
right.
commandant's house up at the fort itself is built on riverbed pebbles.
Right.
Now, we've also spotted something else. As we walk further up this way, we actually get now to the other side of the river. And at the other side of the river, what you find is the slabs that were actually seen that were out of the water. Here they are. So you can imagine here now, here's the line that would have then moved off down into the river itself.
Yeah.
But then up this way, we start to see the remains of the start of the bridge that then would have run across about that sort of height to the other side of the River Tees. So, we've already said the Romans invented concrete, and here we have some concrete with the stones laid around and about, and then looking down across, we get the paving slabs and over into the river. But looking the other way, look what we've got here. We've got Agricola stood on the top. Kay, what's this?
Well, we presume that this is the abutment. Is that the right word, Dan?
Yes, that's the right abutment.
So basically the pad that the bridge stemmed from, if you like, where it, the actual base of it, and it's amazingly crisp still, the way it's, the cutting of it.
They were seriously good engineers.
Yeah.
And looking back that way, something that we couldn't actually show you properly because it's still quite a busy road. Deer Street is paved. For a lot of the time it's the A1 in the UK, which is one of the really important motorways. This has become a B road, but we've driven straight down a road that was built by the Romans in 43 AD. That road then has come and hit this bridge. The bridge has run off over the River Tees to Piercebridge Roman Fort. I think you get a real feeling of how grand a structure this was as we stand here looking across. We've got the abutment there as Kay showed us a second ago, and then straight off over the gushing waters of the River Tees that used to be down there on a seriously impressive bridge. And actually, if you think about it, we would have looked extremely impressive. 5,500 men marching in formation through tribes that were extremely, they were more guerrilla warfare rather than the type of thing that the Romans brought with their testudos. The testudos, when they used to get their, you can see Bryony with a shield down there, they would get their shields and they would in effect turn into a turtle, and they would be able to jab their swords underneath their shields when they were then going into battle. So a seriously effective fighting machine. Extremely effective engineering here, as we see. So what happened to Gnaeus Agricola, the man that led the Second Augustan Legion against the Scots? Well, he got up into Scotland, he got further north than anyone had got before. He set up a lot of forts all around the River Tay. He ended up being governor of Britain for a hugely long time. He was a very philosophical man, liked by many of the locals. Unfortunately, he wasn't liked by the Emperor of Rome. The Emperor of Rome at the time was Domitian. Now, we spoke about Domitian in our Rome special. Domitian was the guy who built the palace on top, looking over the place where they used to do the chariot racing, the Campus Martius. Domitian pulled Agricola out of England, out of Britain, in 85 AD, and Agricola retired to France, which is where he was from, and he died in 93 AD, aged 53. Some say he was poisoned by Domitian. And we're going to have a little look at Piercebridge Roman Fort when we come back to favourite places to knit later on in the episode. Oh my gosh, now that's exciting, and I don't mean the lipstick that's on your teeth. We said we were going to supersize favourite places to knit.
Yep.
And supersize it we have. Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And you weren't even that bothered by the cold.
Well, it was really cold, but down in that kind of dip thing, the wind dropped.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was quite nice, and I said we should come back in the summer and bring a picnic.
And some knitting.
And some knitting.
Yes.
Because there was nobody there.
No. There's only one point where someone walked by with some dogs. Yeah. I got concerned because I thought they were going to come in and spoil our fun.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They sort of strolled on, which was really good.
It was really nice.
We saw, what did we see? It was good. Channing Tatum was in it and Jamie Bell. The Eagle of the Ninth.
Oh, it's very good.
Yeah. That's a really good film.
I didn't think I'd enjoy it at all.
Well, I didn't either. I'd avoided it.
Yeah.
Because of that.
It was an excellent film, and in fact we couldn't watch it all one night, could we? Because it was quite long. And
yeah.
And
Kiefer Sutherland? No, not Kiefer Sutherland. Donald Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland was in Pompeii.
I was going to say,
which we won't discuss.
No.
Because it's terrible, and we'll.
And I absolutely love Kiefer Sutherland, but oh my goodness,
it's an awful film.
Yeah.
But The Eagle of the Ninth, if you're into this whole Roman thing, then it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, and even, me as a girl,
Enjoyed it.
I loved it. So I would say definitely watch it.
But what a great place, though. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though it was freezing.
And I can't wait to go back later on in the episode.
Yay.
Yes. Now, there's only one way I think that we can better that.
Is there?
Yes. Don't you? And that's by establishing, Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Stop it.
Sorry.
That will have jiggled the table like nobody's business.
They don't mind. What's on your needles?
What's on my needles?
What's on your needles?
Well, this actually has not seen light of day since the last time we sat here, I'm pretty sure.
I have so many questions, but you're going to answer them.
Oh, right.
As you go, I'm sure.
Right, okay. Well, this is the second of my Christmas Eve socks. I know, and it's such a long time ago.
No. This Christmas Eve socks. We already established this.
We did.
We are fashionably early.
Yes.
Yes.
So the first one...
The plan is that we finish these on Christmas Eve.
Well, that's doable then, isn't
Yeah.
it? This is the first one.
Oh, look at that.
It's upside down.
They look like Christmas
They
trees.
do look like Christmas trees.
Are they supposed to look like Christmas
They
trees?
do, yeah. It's the evergreen socks. And I'm still... What I decided, I think, is because I knit the foot a bit short for me, some amazing blunder, I think I'm going to send these to your mum, to Nana Wendy.
Oh, she'll love them.
I'm a size 6, a UK 6, and Nana Wendy is a 5.5.
Right.
So her foot is just a smidgen shorter than mine, so I think they will fit her better. So that was the first one. And I've just picked this back up, the rib, and I've just got one more row of the rib to do. This is the yarn, it's debonair.
I was going to ask you what the yarn
Very
is.
pretty.
Debonair. Who's debonair?
Well, I'd never heard of it. I found this at the Knitting and Stitching show that I went to in Harrogate, and that's the yarn.
It doesn't say, does it, on the back where
Well,
it's from?
it says ehdknits.com, and it's got an American phone number.
But maybe people out there know.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe our lovely US friends know of it more than I do. And it is a 80/20 superwash BFL, which I love, and it's Pacific shell. And I've already crocheted a little bit of this into my blanket. I stole a bit. So I'm doing this on 2.25s. Addy laces they are. So there's my rib.
What's Addy laces?
It's the needle.
Oh,
Some
okay.
Addy lace.
Okay, so the make is Addy and the model is lace.
Yes.
Excellent.
So yeah, that one's on the go, and I really do want to get these done because I know you said, we can do it for this year.
And that's the end of it.
I know in my head.
I don't care. I don't want to talk about it.
Right, okay. So,
Yes.
Dan Jones,
Yes.
what's on your needles?
Oh, that was nice. I can't wait till the next go. This is from Deb.
It is from Deb.
Ah.
Hold it closer.
It's handspun.
It's handspun.
It's coming in closer. That's no moon.
Very pretty.
That's a space station. It's so nice.
It is very nice.
Yes. What colour is this?
It's just the natural colour. It's not. I think it's undyed.
This is the natural colour.
Well, I think so. It looks to me like it's just Deb will tell us, but I think it's undyed. Is it
Wow.
Deb?
It smells lovely.
It's very sheepy. It's a Jacob and bamboo mix.
It smells like that. It smells lovely.
It's nice.
Deb always smells lovely.
I'm sure she'll be pleased that you think that.
And it is reminiscent of that yarn that I used to make my handspun
Oh,
hat.
right.
It feels similar.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very nice to knit because I cast that on for you, and it's very nice to knit with.
That yarn.
There you go. You can see it there. Look.
And that's the handspun that I knit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels very similar.
It's quite I mean, it's not bad. Jacob, anybody who spins knows that Jacob is quite a crunchy yarn. But this has been mixed with bamboo. So the bamboo really does soften it. And I think when it's washed as well, that will help as well to soften it.
How do you mix it with bamboo?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a spinner, but I think basically you like comb them together.
Wow.
I don't know.
Right. And then you spin it.
And then you spin it, yeah.
So when you say mix with bamboo, you mean all the lacy bits that you get when you strip a bamboo and...
I don't know how they process bamboo, but it's bamboo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You just wouldn't... You think of bamboo, you think of a stick.
Well, it is, isn't it? But I've no idea how they... It's the fibres,
I know.
it?
I've seen... Because when we used to go on holiday, to Spain, and between where we used to camp and the beach, there was a load of bamboo.
Were there pandas?
No. Because it was Spain. And there used to be all this bamboo, and we used to go and do stuff with it and strip it down. And it was really easy to get the fibres out of it.
Right.
So I know what you're saying when... Well, obviously I've never seen anyone combing together bamboo, but I can understand how that is achieved now, whereas before I couldn't.
And it gives it a sheen, the bamboo. It gives it a really nice... I don't know if you can see, but it does have a sheen to it. And that'll be the bamboo. So I think, looking at it, we think it's a kind of, DK worsted. I mean, it's quite even. Debbie's fantastic.
She is.
And it's very evenly spun. So I'm kind of thinking it's DK worsted, and that's the sort of... I think that's a 4.5 mil I put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
She is to wool what Walter White was to meth.
Yeah. And Deb gifted you that, didn't she?
Because she's amazing.
She's awesome, and she also sent me something else, which I'll talk about in my finished objects.
But what is this? Ooh.
What is that?
So it's just this is boring. But what am I doing?
It's not boring.
Well, at the moment it is. What is this bit?
It's garter stitch.
I'm just doing garter stitch at the moment.
It's not boring.
Well, it is a bit boring, isn't it? It's not very exciting for them to see.
Everybody loves garter stitch.
Oh, it's great.
But it's garter stitch in hand spun.
This isn't boring at all.
This is not boring. I love that.
I thought people wouldn't like it.
No, everybody loves a bit of garter stitch, I can tell you now.
In that case, I'm now thrilled to show you. Look at my garter stitch in handspun. This is going to be the handbrake cowl. And obviously the design isn't out there yet because we've not knit it yet. So knitting it right now, knitting it in tandem with the scarf. So I should get this finished a lot quicker than the scarf though, shouldn't I?
Yes.
So potentially I think probably what will happen is I'll do the cowl pattern and put that out.
Well, you don't kind of have to even finish the scarf because it'll be a free pattern.
Yeah.
So, you don't even need to have to finish the scarf because we can just take a picture of the section of the scarf, can't we?
Okay.
And, put the scarf pattern in there as well and just say knit it as long as you want a scarf, really.
Yeah.
So,
as long as they want a scarf. Well, if they've got the pattern, of course they'll want a scarf.
What?
Oh, as long as you want a scarf. I thought you meant knit it as long as you want a scarf.
I don't know how I've survived living 12 years with you, I really don't.
Is it 12 years?
Yes.
12 years?
Actually, we haven't lived together for 12 years. We will have lived together for 12 years in May.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the handbrake cowl. And once I'm through this bit, because I think I am establishing I'm not that fond of purling. I don't mind purling for the sake of a pattern.
Right.
But doing a round of purling, it just takes a bit longer. And
it does take longer, yeah, you're right.
It's a bit boring. Whereas knitting...
if you want the product, you've got to put the work in.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. But knitting, I don't know, it's just like bang, bang, bang and you're off. And
it is quicker to knit than to purl. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's the handbrake cowl, and my plan is to get this done by the end of the month. I think I can do that.
There's only 28 days.
I realised that, but I finished that hat in less than a month.
Yes.
Which we'll see later. Kay Jones, you need to be ready for this. So, Kay Jones I'm pausing because I've seen people do that on other TV shows.
What?
Are you ready? No, that's Harry Hill on Stars in Their Eyes.
Oh, it's really funny.
Does everyone know who Harry Hill is?
Everybody in the UK will know who Harry Hill is. I don't know I don't know if he's reached.
It would be interesting to
the
know
US,
if anyone
actually.
beyond the UK knows who Harry Hill is. You didn't used to like him at all.
No.
But now,
Yeah.
love him.
He's very silly and very funny. And they've just started redoing Stars in Their Eyes, which was a programme from years ago, wasn't it? That
If you search, you can find
Matthew
them.
Kelly did, and before that, was it Leslie Crowler?
It was. We saw him the other day.
Gosh.
If you search on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find.
Yeah.
If you put in Stars in Their Eyes, and there must have been an American version.
Yeah, there's got
Surely.
to be. But he does it like it's a big Mickey take,
Yeah.
isn't it? It doesn't take it seriously at all. And the prize that he gives them for, not prize, but everybody that comes on and performs, normally they give them a little something. Well, they get this huge pencil. It's so random. Here's your
Pencil.
I can't remember what he calls it.
He's very funny.
It's very.
It's
just silly and funny.
The best programme he's done was his TV Burp.
Oh, that was very funny.
And he used to. Everyone would get a lot out of that because he used to spend a lot of time politely taking the mick out of Downton.
He did. Oh, he did.
In a nice way. He wasn't ridiculing it at all.
No.
It was just hilarious. I like the one where he did. He pasted them in saying Downton in the song Downtown, didn't he?
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah,
It's really funny. We have a programme as well in this country. We used to have a programme in this country. What was it called? The Eddie Stobart programme.
I liked that.
I suppose
trucks. What was it
it would be
called?
similar to Ice Road Truckers.
Oh, I love Ice Road Truckers.
But you see, Ice Road Truckers, there is genuine. I can understand where the tension
there is
comes with that.
genuine worry that they might come a cropper.
And there's a challenge involved.
Yeah.
With Eddie Stobart,
It's
basically,
like-
they just filmed a load of guys
He's got to get from Doncaster to Leeds.
on main roads.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my goodness.
And do you remember the one where he was like ramping up, and at the end he was pretending to get more and more because the guy was like saying he's got to get from Doncaster to Leeds, going, oh no, will he make it? And then the last one, do you remember? He threw himself off his chair and fell backwards.
Yeah,
do you know? Oh, it's so funny. What's on your needles, woman?
What's on my needles? The next thing is...
What yarn's that?
What yarn's that?
Yeah.
I've told everybody a million times, but I shall tell you again. Is my log cabin blanket.
Yeah, I know what that is. What yarn is that?
It's King Cole. Here, look,
King Cole.
It's King Cole bamboo cotton. Bamboo is the
Right.
theme of the podcast.
Where did you get this
clearly.
from?
Derra Moore's probably, or the yarn shop in town. She sells it.
Or boys?
Boys don't sell it.
Oh, right, okay.
It's too upper class for boys.
Doesn't take much.
It's King Cole bamboo cotton, and it is 50% bamboo viscose and 50% cotton.
Viscose?
Bamboo viscose. What? That's how you say it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, stop it. He's always having a go at me for the
No,
way I
I'm not.
say things.
You know.
I think that's how you say it, personally.
Me and Cara Thompson were discussing bread buns.
Oh, gosh.
She calls them a cob,
A cob.
which I'm down with that.
A cob is a crusty one, though. Not... Was it crusty?
Not really.
Well, it's not a cob then, Cara.
I'm with you, Cara. And we
It's
were
a bread
discussing.
cake.
No.
Is it the one that she had peanut butter and jam on?
Yes.
It's a bread cake.
It is not. If we were in Newcastle, that would be a stoddy.
A what?
A stotty.
Stotty?
Yes.
Right.
You see, I'd just call it a bread bun. It's a bread bun.
A bread bun.
Well, that's what it was. It was a bread bun. And
It's a bread roll or a bread cake.
Anyway,
Anyway.
please tell us.
Yes. This is the yarn that I've been using for Bryony's log cabin. So it's King Cole bamboo cotton. And it's lovely. And Cara's just started a log cabin blanket. And
Has
she's
she?
doing it in cotton.
Oh.
And I said to her, you would love this, Cara. And the good thing about...
Did you say that to her?
I have said that to her. Yeah.
That's amazing.
The good thing about this yarn is. I think it's about £5 a ball.
No.
I think it is. Might be £5.50 or something like that. But you get 252 yards.
Wow.
Which is a lot, I think. You know?
I sort of want to get
For
one
the
end and you
money.
get the other and see how...
You don't believe it?
Well, I do. Because they'd get done, wouldn't they, if they were saying that on there?
Yes, I mean, it may be a smidge different, but, you know...
That's a nice colour.
That's another one of the colours.
Do you see that? That, to me, I'm getting a green in that.
It's lemon, but I can see what you mean.
It's like a lemony green. It's like an unripe
colours,
lemon.
That's the 3 colours I've got left to go into this square. And this is my 10th square of 12. And I'm this far in. I like the colours in this one, actually.
I'm glad you do. No, I do too. I just said that for shock value. Sorry.
So, yeah. So I'm back to... I haven't picked this up in a while because I can't really talk about it, but I've been...
Ooh, secret knitting.
I've been working on something that I've knit 2 complete ones of now, and it's quite a big something. So that's taken up a lot of my knitting time. But I'm back to this now, and I really just want to get this done. I wanted it done for Christmas, and we all know I failed in that task.
Where's this bag from?
Susie Q Knits made me this
yes.
bag. This is my blanket bag. Yeah.
Hasn't she only just introduced herself on the...
No, that's somebody else called Susie with a similar... I looked at that one this morning. It's not Susie. It's not my... I mean, everybody's my friend, but Susie Q Knits is in Virginia on Walton's Mountain. I like to think, Sue, that you are actually on Walton's Mountain and you live in that house. So I'm that far in, and I just want to get this done as quickly as I can now because it's just been hanging around for so long, and I just I really just when you have that project that's just been there forever and I just want to get it finished. So you never know, it might be done for next time. And I'm using basically every colour that they do in their range. Not black and not white. This is cream that I'm bordering it with. And I'm doing it on my carbons, which I think is...
Do I like carbons? I don't think I do I?
Did you... No, I think you decided
spiky.
you didn't like them. I think I'm doing it on 3.5 mils, but the sizes rub off these things, don't they? Which is the only thing that kind of bugs me. Is it written on the shaft? No, it's not. But I think I'm pretty sure that there's 3.5 mils I'm doing it on. So, log cabin, goodness.
Goodness.
It is.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying goodness, like goodness.
No, it's log cabin goodness, all one word.
Yes.
Yes. So...
Move it along.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
What's on your needles?
You didn't do my knee thing, and I was waiting. Ooh. I'm cursed because I'm purling on this as well, which is highly annoying. It is.
Oh, you can see the pattern there.
You can. It's the handbrake scarf.
Yeah, we should have chosen a yarn that was a bit paler, I think, and a bit less variegated to show the pattern up.
You can see that.
You can see it, yes.
And it's definitely appropriate for a fella.
Yeah, you can see it there.
For a bloke.
And it's got a garter.
Oh yes, garter. Everyone loves garter.
Garter here and garter here. So, yeah.
Nice. And the yarn is...
I'm sorry. It was the last of my lovely cappuccino that you made me.
What's the yarn?
The yarn is the Uncommon Thread.
Oh.
Which I love the Uncommon Thread. You all know that. I've all bored you senseless telling you how much. And the tag's not in here.
Oh no.
Unless it's in this one. It is. Ha-ha! Sorry, I'm gently putting things down. It's the Uncommon Thread BFL DK Special Edition. It's Superwash BFL. And the colourway is Plata. Plata.
How's it spelled?
Plata.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And we've got 2 skeins of that, haven't we? So.
Yes. Yeah, and it's lovely. Do you know what? It is as fun to knit as Suli Gawley's masterpiece that is the Bankhead hat. I enjoy instinctive knitting, and that's what this is. Once you're off, you're off. I mean, it's down to Susie's great pattern, really.
It's very intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive knitting, and I think this will go. I think this will go lovely with it, with the hat.
It will.
I think. So yeah, that's what's on my needles.
Yay.
Are you ready?
Oh gosh, I just started a row.
You have to be
Good
prepared.
heavens, right.
You have to be ready.
I am ready.
Well, yeah, are you honestly?
Yes.
Oh, okay, Jones, what's on your... Oh, nice leg. What's on your needles?
What's on my what's on my hook?
What's on your hooks? That could be like a pirate themed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking then, I was like Captain Hook. I wonder if he could crochet with his hook.
Or maybe he had because in the film, they're doing a new one. Except the new one is based on Blackbeard, who was...
Oh, right.
He was the guy who was the pirate before Captain Hook.
Right.
Anyway, and Hugh Jackman's playing Blackbeard, I think. So what's on your hooks?
Well,
Hook.
We all know what's on my hook, don't we? I've had to transfer it to a different bag.
What song did Dr. Hook sing?
I don't know.
When you're in love with a beautiful woman.
Cool. I've had to take it out of the Fox bag because it was just getting too big, and I was like, oh, where am I going to keep this? I've not got a bag big enough, and I decided to use my bag that my friend Jen made me a couple of years ago for my birthday.
That's a very nice bag.
Yeah, my bear bag. So I'm keeping it in that, and I'll show you where I'm up to so far. I've now got, I think last time, I was trying to remember how many squares I had last time, and I think it was kind of in the 70s from memory. And I've now got, I think, 105 I'm up to. So I'll try and hold it up so you can see how big it is now. And I don't even know if it's going to go in the screen.
Yes, in.
Pretty much. I can virtually get it all in.
It's tickly.
So there's my blanket, and I'm working on this edge here now. You can see I've just got, is it 3 more or 4 more? 3.
So when did you actually start this?
I looked that up recently. I think it was the 14th or 15th of December I started it. So I don't think that's that long, really. And
where did you get your inspiration to start it?
Well, what happened... Well, I explained this before, but I will explain it again.
I didn't listen last time.
You didn't listen?
No.
Yeah.
I should watch the episode back, shouldn't I?
Yes, go and watch and then you will find out. I shall explain again just in case people didn't see that episode. But two things actually. I'd bought a 2.75mm crochet hook to finish the little Snow White mouse for Bryony for Christmas, and I needed a small crochet hook to do like there's a little Peter Pan collar. So I bought the hook to do that. And then also, I've tried a couple of times in the past to do the mitered sock yarn blanket, and Sally knows I've tried, and I just wasn't feeling it for some reason. I just kept failing, and I couldn't get the edges neat enough where you picked up, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I just suddenly thought one night, I'd got I was putting the hook away because I'd finished the project, and I thought, gosh, I wonder if I could crochet a granny square from sock yarn. I've got this small hook. I'm going to give it a go. So I did. And I crocheted a few, and then I'd got this cream yarn. I thought, oh, okay, I'll try edging them, and I just went from there really, and I loved it. And it's quicker than knitting, definitely. And
where does the name Scrappy Sock Yarn Blanket come from?
I made it up.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Gosh. Okay.
It's not that I just made it up because it's sock yarn scraps. It's granny squares. So it's a scrappy sock granny blanket.
You've started a whole movement.
I have started. Well,
I thought that was just a general phrase.
No, and you know, it's really nice now because there are a number of people crocheting them, and I think that's lovely.
Yeah.
It's really nice, you know, and there's different combinations of colours. Susan's doing
maybe you could have
blue
like
background.
You could have like a convention, the Scrappy Sock Yarn blanket convention, and I think where could a good place to have it be? Cockermouth.
Cockermouth. Why?
Because that's where they have that show.
Oh, they do, yeah. We could all get our granny blankets out, couldn't we?
You'd need it there, it's cold.
It's cold, yeah. And Disa and Marsha, I think, are doing grey backgrounds. Is that right? I think so. So, this is where I'm up to. And somebody asked me how big it was now. I've not measured it, actually, but it's this big. I don't quite know how big. I mean, it's a good size already. And I just love it. And I've had some lovely people have sent me some mini skeins these past, it's been 3 weeks, hasn't it? These past 3 weeks. And I've been adding those in, so I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. There's been Cara sent me some, lovely Cara. Susan, Rista 1313, I've just been crocheting yours in, and I'll try and find them while I'm speaking. Zena, Little Yellow Uke, and Sarah, who's Lil's, Angels, and a number. Can't remember Sarah. So I'm adding all yours in. That was Zena's, I think. And I'm on this side now. Where's my side gone? Here we go. That one was from Zena. That one was from Zena, I think, and that one. And then these are the ones that I've got to add in. And when Susan sent me the minis, she put them in this little bag, and I love this little bag. Look, IKEA, a little IKEA. It's not a zip top. It's like a snappy, and I love this little bag.
I wonder if that bag, when she bought it, if it was flat packed and she had to put it together before she used it. That would be so cool.
Maybe so, but now I'm keeping my completed ones in here now, Susan. So I love that little bag. So this one, this one was from Susan. It's pink. I hope you can see the sparkles. It's like pink and dark grey and like undyed, all sparkly. That one is an opal mini skein. Do you know the opal little tiny balls that I bought recently? That's one of those. And the good thing about those is the colour repeats are quite long. And you can get, it's 10 grams, so I'll get 3 squares out of it because they're all about 3 grams-ish. And they all look different because of the colour repeats quite long. So, I mean, they're really good. That one, I think that one was from Cara. Is that one from you, Cara? I think it was, yes.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yes, and I've got another one, yes, because I made 2 out of each little mini skein she sent. So I think that one was from Cara. And then this one was from Zena. And look at this one. Oh, my goodness. It's like rainbow-alicious.
That looks like that's been crafted by a princess of power.
It does. It was our warrior princess. And I've already put one of those in. There it is, look. Next to my favourite colour at the minute. I'm loving this kind of lilac-y lavender. I don't know why all of a sudden, because I never used to really like lilac. And then all of a sudden I just love this colour.
Nice.
So that's where I'm up to with it, and I'm still absolutely loving it. And I'm having to stop myself working on it because I've just had other things that I've had to finish. And I haven't worked on this for a couple of days now, so I'm itching to get back to it. I've just got those 3 to do on that side, so I might do those tonight to make it back to a square. I'm not sure how big I'm going to make it. I think I'm just going to basically keep going and going and going until I think it's big enough. And then,
I love the fact that you sensed the question everyone was asking out there.
Oh, right.
How big are you going to make it, Kate? I'm not sure how big I'm going to make it.
This is my favourite section. Can you see this section here? And that's Madeline Tosh Merino Light in rose. This one is my Sally square. A tiny little bit that Sally sent me of some Vullen Vine, surrounded by a blue that I thought Sally would like. And then I love, this one is, I think it's an Osterman. Is it an Osterman yarn that? It's one that's got cotton in and a stretchy. And then I've got the lavender just there, and purple and pink. Oh, I just love that little section. That's my favourite. And Bryony has favourite sections. And she's so sweet because she's like, "Ooh, are you going to do some of that crochet?" And in a spelling test this week, crochet was on her spelling test. So
perfect.
She got it right, needless to say.
Is that everything that's on your needles?
Yes.
Great.
At the moment. Oh, and one other thing I did the other night is, I may have started something else because I started circles.
Cool.
So I think this is going to be my next one. So I started doing circles because I thought, I don't really want this to end. I don't want it to end. And what am I going to do when it's finished?
Make glasses.
I'm going to be like, oh gosh. I'm going to be like, oh, I finished it. What am I going to do? And then my friend Sally is doing like flowers in the snow.
If you make these bigger, it would be like Princess Leia's hairdo.
It would. We need to talk about that.
We do.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
So,
these are mine now.
No, they're not. Get off.
I like these.
So I think that's going to be my next one, and I think I'm going to save.
I want to knit something in pretty colours.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to save this blanket, I think, for our summer holiday this year, which is another something exciting that we need to talk about. That we should have a section called something
exciting things.
Exciting things. So, thank you to everybody who sent the minis. It's so, you're so kind to do that. And I know you're going to think, Susan, I love this bag. And she probably just shoved that in there just as, something to put all the little mini skeins in. And I just love it, so...
You're a bag lady.
I think about... Oh, he's so mean. I think about you, Susan, every time now I get out my little IKEA bag.
She says, look, Susan, the bag lady sent me this.
I do not say that, Susan.
Girl Cave bags, come on.
Girl Cave bags.
There you go, see?
And Susan, I've only got one of your bags, and I bought it. Do you know when you did this is so bizarre that I'm saying this to you, because I remember getting it and I was just like so excited, and now I know you and I know the other person that was connected to the kit, and I got it when you did the kit with Michelle. Dancing Dog Diaries, when you did the I think it was just called the Girl Cave bag, wasn't it? GCB. Girl Cave bag, GCB update, and Mrs. Bakery Bear is knit out of the yarn, and the bag matched it, and I use your bag to keep all my sort of like little things to do with my bears, like all the eyes and all the like bits and pieces, so it's always in use. So and I know you both now. It's kind of bizarre to me. So
are you ready to do a
tell me what I've got to... Oh, hang on.
Yeah. She knows, you see. She knows.
Gosh, what? That was my blanket, but this is where I'm keeping. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's such an epic thing, isn't it? This is where I'm keeping all my little, mini skeins. And I actually bought myself some. Mini skeins don't count, by the way, when you're on a yarn diet. Just in case you need to know that. Don't count. So I got myself some minis from 5 Moons. I got some that are like lovely, look, autumnally colours, and then some blues and purples. So I've got those, and these are the ones that Susan sent me. So that's that pink I've just done, and she sent me some Desert Vista Dye Works, yummy, and some Never Enough Time. All I Want for Christmas is Who. So I'll be putting those in, and then I've got all the ones that Zena sent. This is just some of them. She sent me loads. Beautiful. And then that one and that one, they were from Sarah. And Cara's, I've crocheted all of Cara's up now, I think. They were some more from Zena, and it's just, I've just got so many, and these are all my kind of ones that are in progress now, and I cleared out all the ones that I've done already I don't mind doubling up and things like that, but I wanted to get all the new ones in before I started repeating. So this is where I'm keeping all my lovely minis, and they're the opal ones. Look, they're so cute. I got these a while back, but I love them. They're so cute. Again, don't count on a yarn diet. So there we go.
Are you now ready to ask?
Yes. What am I asking?
What do you think you're asking?
Right. Yes, thank you. I know. Okay. So, are you ready? Somebody out there for what's on your needles?
Yes.
Yes. So what I did with picking these people is I went to the Welcome to the Bakery thread, and I looked through the introductions, and anything that kind of jumped out at they're obviously all fabulous. You've taken the time to come and say hello, but anybody that particularly why have you got a face like that?
Because I'm excited. I'm waiting for you to say. I'm holding my breath.
So what's on your needles? You get what I did to choose these people. What's on your needles is Kelly Dang.
Oh!
And Kelly Dang is Kelly from Connecticut, and she introduced herself on the thread. So Kelly, get over.
Has anyone replied yet?
Has anyone replied to
Has
Kelly?
anyone have you or I replied to her yet?
I think you did.
Good.
I think Dan did.
It did ring a bell. And just while Kay's talking about that, mainly me, except when I was ill.
I'm really bad.
No, it's fine. Well, you're dealing with all the in-depth knitting stuff. I can't answer questions like that. So I do try, and I do it in bursts. So if I haven't welcomed you yet, I will be. And apologies. Some people, because I picked it up probably January, and I was going back to November last year.
So I'm sorry if we've
but we
not
will
replied individually.
Because
we
always
read them all.
Since day one. We've always replied to everyone, and we always will.
I read them all, but we do kind of try and split the workload, I suppose you would call it. Not a workload.
It's a privilege.
I'm trying to think of the word, but you know what I mean.
What does Kelly need to do?
Kelly needs to go over to the What's on Your Needles thread and take a picture and show us what you're knitting.
Well, I can't wait.
Yay, Kelly.
There's only one thing that could be more exciting than finding out what's on Kelly's needles, and that is going back to Piercebridge Roman Fort.
Yes.
I'm desperate to find out what's going to happen up at the fort.
So am I.
Now, what is interesting about this Roman triplet is we're starting close to home and then slowly moving further and further away from home. And what's cool about that as well is we gradually build up on the amount of ruins that are there. So there's a little bit at Piercebridge, and then next episode, there's a lot. And the episode after that, there's a lot. And it really does all depend, as you're going to find out, it all depends on how the particular area has developed afterward. I shall say no more. Let's go back and find out about Piercebridge Roman Fort. Welcome back to part 2 of favourite places to knit. So over to our left, can't see any of it now, but it was the Vicus. Now the Vicus, in Latin, that means neighbourhood, and it was where a lot of the veterans, so any soldiers who retired from any of the legions that were placed at the fort, they would move into houses next to the fort. And within the Vicus, you would get all the types of businesses that you would find now in neighbourhoods. So there'd be places to get some food, places to get a drink, places to get clothes from, all sorts. But opposite the Vicus is the fort. And the fort is what we've come to see. Now, as you come into a Roman fort, you get an extremely large gatehouse. And the gatehouses are on all 4 sides because they're set out on a square footprint. Now you can't see very much of it today, but if you just have a pan across, you can see there, either side of that path, is where the gatehouses were. They'd rise up really, really high. There'd then be 2 gateways through, and then running along down that way, you had the beginnings of the walls of the fort, and then running across into the village, you had all the sections of the fort. Okay, so what do we find outside the walls of the fort? We find a great big ditch. Let's go have a look. Bryony, or should I say Agricola, what's this?
It's a man trap.
Now, a man trap was a very clever invention. The Romans would dig a ditch like this, and into this ditch they would stick stakes, and the stakes would be jutting up this way. They would then cover the stakes all over with foliage and just try to make it look like it was nice flat ground. They would then hope that if anyone came to attack, maybe some brigantes, they would run forwards, they would not see the ditch, and they would fall straight in on top of one of those spikes. That's why it was called a man trap. So, we've discovered our man trap, but the question on everybody's lips is knitting related. Let's see if we can scale the man trap and see if Kay knows anything about knitting in Roman times. Let's go. So, Kay, the question on everybody's lips is, did the Romans knit?
Did the Romans knit?
Yes.
Well, quite possibly, I think, is the answer.
Where?
We don't know for definite. And they discovered that from as early as 3 AD, was that correct? They found evidence that some form of knitting was taking place. The reason that they know this is they actually found at Piersbridge here, they found what looked like some form of sock blocker, and still on the sock blocker was the remains of, they weren't sure if it was woven or if it was knitted. They thought it was knitted, some kind of herringbone pattern sock.
Wow.
So quite possibly they could have been knitting.
So what you're telling us then is Romans wore socks with sandals.
Socks with sandals. Yeah.
How fashionable. Here I am on top of what's left of the barracks. Now the barrack blocks were normally home to between 4 and 6 Roman legionaries. There's differing reports as to how they were laid out, but I think it's universally agreed they were extremely barren places. It was either straw on the floor, or if you were lucky it was wood. You then had stone walls, you had wooden bunk beds, which is pretty cool, and you're obviously sleeping on straw mattresses. Now running alongside the barracks, because legionaries obviously need somewhere to go to the loo, we have this trench. And the trench used to carry all the waste from the barrack blocks down to the river, and away it would flow. So that ends our favourite places to knit, our first Roman favourite places to knit of 3. Next week we're going to be, or next episode should I say, we're going to be at Chester's Fort. Now Chester's Fort, seriously interesting place, because that's the only other Roman bridge that's left in Britain. But to think, this was a major Roman fort. It was a very large village outside, or a really small town outside, the Vicus, and now it's just a lovely, quiet, completely off the beaten track, little, I was going to say Scottish, little Yorkshire village. And yeah, I think on that note, we shall hand back to the studio. That was so exciting. I want it to be next episode now. What was all those things at the end there? That looked like, it's sort of like where people might sit before they went for a bath, maybe. And also, I'm sure I saw like underfloor heating as well in some of those little clips. That looks seriously exciting.
Very good.
You'll have to tune in, though, in episode 19 to find out all about where we're going. And didn't Bryony look good in her?
She did, yeah.
She loves it. I got her that get up. When you went...
I went to... Where did I go?
Cockermouth.
I went to Woolfest.
Yeah.
Not last year, the year before.
2013.
I went on a coach with my local yarn shop, and so you took
You know what
Bryony.
this looks like? This, what you didn't realise about Kay and I is we're actually giants. This is a full-size mug.
Yeah.
This is a big drink in it. What do you think of my espresso cups?
Aren't they cool?
Oh my.
She doesn't watch, but our lovely hairdresser,
The
Shelley.
Death Star Canteen.
Yeah.
And I'm just reading to Bryony at the moment, actually, the book, The Death Star.
Oh, right.
And it's all about how the Death Star was built and stuff. I didn't think she'd like it.
She mentioned to me last night when I was putting her to bed, she said, Daddy reads one chapter of his book and then he plays his game. That's what she said.
I feel bad now. I'll read 2 chapters. Well, I only stopped reading because otherwise she'd never go sleep.
No, it's true.
And the chapters aren't short.
Well, I don't know. I think she would, because when I put her to bed, I put on an audio book. We're listening to Harry Potter at the minute, the first one. And she does fall asleep.
She's normally asleep probably 10 minutes before I come downstairs.
But you used to stay up there playing.
I get caught up in things.
I don't. The second she's asleep, I'm like, right, can sit on the sofa and knit now.
So anyway, there's only one thing more exciting than episode 19 and where we're visiting.
Is there?
And that's finding out, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
Oh, no, do you know?
Sorry.
Let me just put this sock away because I finished the rib and I'll be
love
starting the pattern, and I can't really do that and anything else at the same time. So I'll put that away. And it's
If you're wondering what's in my cup, it is an
still in my
espresso.
lovely bag, Danny. Yay.
What?
My Christmas pudding bag from Danny.
I didn't give you that.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't like me calling you Danny.
I don't.
I hate so.
I am not Danny. I have no issue with Danny's. Danny's a girl's name. So perfect, Danny.
Yeah, but when you worked in the theatres, everybody called you Danny.
Yes.
And he doesn't like it. So
And paid me with chocolate oranges.
don't call him Danny, anybody. I do it sometimes to annoy you, but not very often.
So the first job I ever did in the theatre while she's getting out her What's Off Your Needles, first job I ever did in a theatre, we're halfway through the first week, there's only 1 week, we're halfway through the week of the run of the show. It was a pantomime. Question.
Tell me what you think about this.
Question. No.
I'm not going to do it again.
Question. Do you know what pantomimes are outside of the UK? So anyone outside of the UK, preferably as many people as possible, please come and tell us in the Ravelry thread or in the YouTube thread below.
If you have pantomimes.
Or do you have the equivalent of a pantomime? And if you don't know what a pantomime is, then please ask. Ask and we'll tell you. My question, I can't remember what it was now. Oh, I know. I was doing a pantomime halfway through the week, and they pulled all the musicians aside and they said the set cost a bit more than we anticipated, and we can't afford to pay you. So we're all like,
Well, that's okay then.
Well, the funny thing is everyone was like, oh, okay then, okay, fine. So they get to the end of the week, and what did they do? They said, we couldn't, allow you to do the show and not give you something. So they gave us all a chocolate orange, a Terry's chocolate orange. Word got around, and then every gig I did after that for about the next 4 years, I used to get paid, but they'd give me my money and they'd stuff it inside a chocolate orange. Which is...
So you got a chocolate orange as well?
And I got paid.
Seems a good
It's a
deal
fair
to
deal.
me. Yeah, I love a chocolate orange.
What's off your needles?
Da, da, da. Look! How cute! I made some thrummed mittens.
With fondant fibre.
With fibre from Deb.
With fondant fibre.
Fondant fibre. That's what we need to do. Look. We can cover his whole head.
She's blocking me out. Get off me.
So I was inspired to knit these by Danny from Little Bobbins. She'd knit some and I was like, oh, I've got to make some of those. They're too cute. So I did. And I used Quince & Company Lark for the, I'm not going to say the word, but for this colour. And in the chanterelle it is actually. It's not the bee colour, beige. It's not that, it's chanterelle. And then the fibre is fibre that Deb gifted me. She's so sweet. You know, I sent her a message saying, could I buy just 50 grams of fibre? I had no idea about, you know, I don't spin or anything like that, so I had no clue. And then the next day, all this fibre arrived with a load of hand spun yarn. I was like, oh, Deb.
Wasn't there sweets in there too?
There was.
What sweets?
Was it caramel? You ate them. She sent some Cadbury's caramel eggs.
I did.
With a note on that said, hands off, Dan. These are for Bryony, and he ate them.
I didn't. I may have had one.
So what I just did each mitten slightly different. If you can see on
I was going to ask
back
you.
to front.
I was going to ask you, was that deliberate?
It is deliberate.
Right.
It wasn't a mistake. Because I don't like knitting things exactly the same twice, you know. So on this one, I did the greens all in a line and then alternated.
Oh my gosh, I can see.
Yeah, and alternated the pink and purple. And on this one, I did pink all in a line and alternated the green and purple.
Shall I tell you something?
You thought that was a mistake?
No, shall I tell you something?
What?
Now you've pointed that out, I could not wear those gloves.
Because they're not the same?
Nope.
Why?
For exactly the same reason that I have to wear the same socks.
Oh gosh.
You know how, I don't know about guys or
But I've
girls.
knit you socks that don't match entirely.
That's different.
Right.
That's different. But well, so maybe I'll be alright with those gloves. I don't know. They're lovely though.
They are, and they are like, I've worn them the last 2 days to go to school because it's been freezing, and it's like having duvets on your hands. They're amazing, you know, they're amazing. I have to say, I did find it a little fiddly with, putting the thrums in. And I did the same thing that Danny did. I made like a little figure of 8 and rubbed...
Don't you mean thumbs in?
Thrums.
No, these are thumbs.
Oh, shush.
What are thrums? I've got no idea what
These
thrums
are thrums. These bits, the fibrey bits,
oh, okay.
They're called thrums.
That's confusing.
Yeah, thrums on the thumbs.
Yeah.
I did find it a bit of a fiddle, and I was really glad actually to get them done. I really wanted them and I love them, but it did slow me down, you know,
Yeah.
which it will. And I wasn't very good at it, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure as well that
far from perfect.
That you stated on completion that you were never knitting this thing again.
Well, I did kind of say that, yeah. And they kind of fit Bryony. I made the small size because I've got quite small hands. So they're a bit big for her, but if she ever wants to borrow them, you know, I've said that, we'll share them. And then I don't need to make another pair. But they're very, they're very cute inside. Look at all the... Look. Very cute. And so I do really love them, and I recommend the pattern. Is it Little Red Mitten, the pattern's by? It's on my project page if you want to have a look at which one it is, because there's lots of thrummed mitten patterns out there. The only thing I wish I'd done, I kind of wish they were a little less pointy at the top, and I could have rounded them off, I could have done it differently, but I didn't. But, they're fine. So that's my first thing, yay. Very quick to knit as well. Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's off your needles?
Well, could you do my leg?
No.
Please.
No.
It's hurting. That's nice. What's off my needles is, well, of course. And I was thinking how many of these I should make this year.
Oh.
I don't know, 12 maybe? Seems like a good...
12? 12 hats?
12, well, no, 12 bankhead hats. I was thinking.
Yeah, right, okay.
Well, I don't know, no, 6.
Yeah, 6 is more realistic.
6.
Really.
I'm going to make 6 of these, because I knocked this off I started it in January, and I'd finished it well in advance of the end of the month.
And I've stolen it.
She's nicked it. So I think, yeah.
I've got my hair in a high ponytail, so it'll look a bit ridiculous, but it's
Lovely.
okay.
Lovely. Yeah. And I did enjoy the informal knit along. It was lovely to see all those lovely bankheads appearing. And if we introduced the bankhead pattern to one new person, then our mission was successful.
Yeah.
And what's been really cool as well is seeing, because didn't you say Darren he'd knit one and he was on another?
Isn't it two? We had on the last episode, Darren, you had one on your head and you'd knit another one, which I think you said you were going to get.
They're like,
so
it's like
there you go, you can see it better there.
it's like a drug, it's crazy.
And it's the yarn. What is it, Dan?
No idea. I've got no idea.
How did we know that was going to happen?
Look,
You can't remember what the yarn is.
today is a momentous day because today's the first time I've ever said I want to knit something in a pretty colour.
He did say that,
I
didn't
know
he?
I have knit things in pretty colours before, but
What do you want to knit?
I think I'll knit some socks.
Right.
I think.
Well, right. Okay.
Well.
I'll have to think about what yarn.
So that is off my needles.
It's Rowan, Pure Wool Aran. In that colour, I can't remember the name of the colourway, but it's discontinued.
That has to be
sadly.
my quickest project.
I'd say,
Ever.
yeah.
Because I'm on fire now, baby.
You're funny.
I'm like a knitting machine.
My mum used to have one of those.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing those.
Zip.
Either in magazines or
Yeah,
maybe
you can
there's
still
on the
get-
telly.
people
Do you
still
have more
use
off
them.
your needles? You
I do.
What's off your needles?
Like I said, there are two
Okay,
other
Jo.
things that are off my needles, but I'm not allowed to show you. I
You
was
are
going
not.
to talk about it this episode, but Dan says I'm not allowed. So, and they're quite big things, like I say, and that's mainly what I've been knitting on. But you'll find out in due course. But this is off the needles. Look,
Looky.
finished Dan's Declan's hat. Oh gosh, that's difficult to say.
It's way better than the last one.
Yes, I finished Dan. Oh, there you go. You can see it properly now. It's Declan's hat is the pattern.
No, it's not. It's mine.
And I knit it in Madeline Tosh Vintage in the stovepipe colourway, and it's just beautiful. And I think actually this would suit my eyes.
It may do, but it's big.
Well, I know that, but I haven't got any more of this yarn anyway. But I think that's a nice colour on me. Sally, what do you think? Yep, so it's done. And the previous one I knit the size large, which is a big hat, and that is why I've knit this again, because it fits your head really well, doesn't it?
What are you trying to say?
That you've got a very small head.
Thank you.
But whenever he's wearing it, I can't stop staring at his head because it's so beautiful. The colourway is so, it's just so rich and so tonal, but yet the cables still really pop out.
You didn't mess the cables up this time, either.
I
which is good.
didn't. On the first one, every time he wears the first one, I can see on one of the rows, I've purled all the way round for some reason. What is that all about?
Dear.
So, I mean, fantastic pattern, and there's lots of different sizes, so if I was I'd love one of these actually, and I'd knit it probably 2 sizes down from this. But well worth knitting. I think it came out really nice.
Is there nothing else off your needles? No. There's nothing else off my needles
Nothing I can
either.
show you.
No. So you need...
Oh, no.
What?
I can't show you again, but I finished the post office lady cowl.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I blocked it from my mind because I don't want to think about it. But I finished the jewelled cowl for the post office lady. It's on my project page if you want to see it. I took it to her last week and she loved it, and she felt really bad because she thought that I knit and sold things for a living. So I know, and she was like, oh gosh, I wanted to ring you, and when I realised, she says, I wanted to ring you and tell you, it really didn't matter, but she didn't have a phone number, and anyway, it was fine, she loved it, and she paid me for the yarn and gave me a bit extra as well, so all is good.
Yeah.
It's finished, done, never again.
Can we,
Okay, so, oh gosh. So what's off your needles? Are you ready? Again, I got all these names this week from the introduction thread because I just became aware really that maybe not everybody wants their name shouting out. So I thought if I choose people from the introduction thread, I better say this quick because Dan's going to pass out, then, you know, they've been on the forums already, so I'm hoping, you know, you won't have an issue. But if you don't, you know, if you are sensitive about it, then just please let me know, and obviously that's fine. So anyway, Dan has keeled over. So what's off your needles? And I love, the reason I've chosen this person is, we have chatted, but I love your Ravelry name, and it is Lorita Juanita.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love your name. And it's Laura, and she's from Redmond, which I think is Washington. I hope I've got that right. Lorita Juanita.
Yeah, me and Bryony.
Bryony loves your Ravelry name. She thinks it's really cool.
Yeah, well, we had to establish how to pronounce it first.
Oh, right.
Yes, but now she's very good at Juanita. Yes.
So, Laura, pop on over to the to the What's Off Your Needles thread and show us what you've just finished.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yay.
Speaking of exciting, we watched the Super Bowl.
We did. Well,
What?
a much fast-forwarded version of the Super Bowl.
Well, we didn't miss any of the action.
No.
Yeah. Because it's on so late,
For us.
you've either got the choice of staying up till 3:30 in the morning, or recording it, avoiding the score, and then watching it. And that's what I chose to do. And there's so much waffle in between. That, I mean, the pre-game, that's all cool. But then, I mean, I don't know about the American coverage, but the English coverage, there's things like Gethin Jones, who was on Strictly Come Dancing over here and used to be engaged to that blonde singer, the Catherine Jenkins.
He did? Is he not married to her?
No.
I didn't know that.
No.
Right.
So he's like down on the sideline talking about cheerleaders and stuff, and it was just waffle.
It was.
So basically, whenever the clock stopped, I just zapped it forward.
Including the half-time show, which just went totally over my head, I'm afraid. I'm not
Unfortunately,
young and trendy enough to appreciate.
Well, historically, there's
whoever her name
been
was.
some great ones. I remember the Paul McCartney one was really good, and I remember when Bruce Springsteen did it, and I remember loads of and Red Hot Chili Peppers and loads of really good ones. I don't really like Katy Perry's songs.
I'm not into her really. I think I'm just a bit old for Katy Perry.
No, I disagree.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh right. I thought she was like a teenage type person. Am I completely wrong?
I don't think you give a chuff about that because you love Call Me Maybe.
That's true.
And I would say that that's pitched at younger people than Katy Perry's tunes are pitched at.
I think she just kind of annoyed me for some reason. I know loads of people loved her and loved the performance. I'm sure
Great,
to watch
go for it.
Yeah, I'm sure to watch it. It was a spectacle.
Variety is the spice of life.
But I just found it. I was like, she's on a big lion. What?
You know, she was singing about a lion.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
Oh, you see.
I loved
Over my head.
I loved how literal her staging was, because when she sang firework, she was flying around on a firework. It's so stupid. Just be a bit more. Don't be so literal with things. Anyway, what a great game. So much better than last year. Last year was so disappointing with the snap over Peyton's head, and so disappointing.
And the Patriots are my team.
They are. Yes.
Not that I really support. I say that as if like I'm an avid supporter. I'm not really, but when I was growing up, my brother really liked American football and got really into it. And I just said, I'm going to choose a team just so I could watch it with him. And I think I just liked the colours or something. I can't think of why I chose New England, but
lots of people chose New England back then.
Oh really?
Yeah. I suspect that the quarterback back then will have been a ginger-haired fella.
I don't remember.
Called Steve Grogan, who was a left-hander.
Right.
I would guess that he was the quarterback because that was around the time when you guys were young. What?
Nothing. I know you're just implying about my age again.
No.
I'm just ignoring you.
It is not true. So for me, American football, I got into American football when the Sega Mega Drive came out, and I wanted to get the best game for it, and the best game always in the charts was always the John Madden series. So I got the John Madden series, and through playing the game, learnt the rules of the game.
Was that the man who was commentating?
No, not anymore. He used to.
Wasn't he a coach, John Madden?
Yeah, I told you that when we were watching.
That's where I know the name.
You said he was a player. I said no, he was a coach.
That's where I know the name from.
Yes.
When they said that's John Madden, I was like, I know that name.
What do you mean that's John Madden? They didn't say that's John Madden.
But wasn't one of the coaches of the teams John Madden?
No.
Wasn't it somebody called John Madden?
No.
Wasn't he there?
No.
Well, where have I got that from then?
I've got no idea. That's why when we were watching it, I was puzzled when I said no, he used to be a coach.
Right, okay, I totally ignore that segment, people.
He had a cool game that's still obviously around now, and I played that, and that's how I learnt the rules of the game. And for me, my team was initially the Indianapolis Colts, and that was around the time that Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback. But then it quite quickly changed to the Cleveland Browns. And it changed to Cleveland Browns because we live very close to Cleveland. And Cleveland's just a nice place.
Not Cleveland in America, obviously.
No. We lived close to the original Cleveland, which is not far from here at all. And yeah, it's unfortunate now that I like the Cleveland Browns because they're a bit of a joke.
Right.
They had a good start to the season, and then it all went wrong, which is a bit of a shame. And they're in trouble at the moment because one of their general manager, who's supposed to just manage the team, he's been texting play calls down to the coach at the side of the pitch, and that's not allowed because the coach is supposed to call the plays.
Right. I have no clue. I was saying to you through the match, what's the down?
Yeah.
Why does it say 3rd and 5? What does that mean? So then you said they've got 4 goes that go in 10 yards. And I was like, that's not very far. Can they not go 10 yards with just like 1 go?
Well, sometimes they do.
Yeah, and I said, well, what happens if they get that on the 2nd go? And he's like, well, they get another 4. I'm like, what? Right, okay.
What's interesting is it is very similar to our rugby. And on Friday this week, which will probably be the day that this podcast comes out, if not before, on Friday of this week, the Six Nations starts, and one of the biggest games in the Six Nations is Wales against England, and that is on tomorrow night.
Right.
And it always puts me in a very tricky position because my 75% of my blood, my lineage is Welsh, but I've spent my whole life living in England, so I never really know who to call for, which is quite good when you sit down and watch a game. It's a bit like that when we sat down to watch the American football, because I don't think either of us were calling for anyone. But should we be controversial?
Okay.
I think we felt that the right team won the Super Bowl.
Well, they did.
Because
that end bit was like...
Yeah.
I mean, we just sort of laughed, don't we? Where he was like, "Oh, I had a vision." Is that what he said?
I had a vision. I was going to make a big play, and then I did. That's so cool.
I love that.
But
I loved all the after where they were talking to all the players after. I thought that was just.
If we're fair here, if you consider that catch that was made by the Seahawks, that was luck that ball landed.
Yeah.
It was all. I think it was fair that he did intercept when he did, and also I think if we look at, I'm being very controversial. I can
hear people yelling at you.
And fair dues, that's the great thing about sport. But I certainly watched it from a completely unbiased position, but I found myself wanting the Patriots to win because they were throwing the ball and they were moving it, they were being entertaining.
Was the Patriots the team that's got that massive man?
Vince Wilfork.
It's like the size of a ship. He's enormous.
No, I can't. I think he's Patriots.
I can't remember.
I can't remember now.
And then at the end, they gave that tall man like a truck.
Well, he wasn't the really tall man. The really tall man was Rob Gronkowski.
No, the tall
quarterback.
man. What? Yeah, the good,
Tom Brady.
handsome one. Yeah.
Tom Brady, yeah.
They gave him like this massive, brand new red truck, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, guys." I was like,
But
they've just given him a
guess
truck.
what? He wants to give it to Malcolm Butler, who
Does he really?
intercepted it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he going to do that?
Yeah, he will, but don't.
That's really sweet.
It's not as grand a gesture as you know, to you and I, us giving a truck to someone is a huge gesture, but to him, who's earning the millions and millions of dollars
Gosh,
that
will
he
he
is,
really? How much will he earn?
substantially large amounts of
Really?
cash.
Gosh.
Yes, but
Wow.
what I quite like about Tom Brady as well is the fact that he's 37.
Yeah.
That's so amazing, and he's still doing a good job.
He did.
But yeah, we enjoyed the Super Bowl. Sorry for being controversial. Yeah, enjoyable game.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It's time for what's on your bookshelf.
Oh.
How exciting! What is on your bookshelf?
Well, I'm reading the second of the Clan of the Cave Bear books, which is the Valley of Horses. I kind of inspired myself the last time and wanted to go back and reread it. And the Valley of I always want to say the Valley of the Horses. It's not. It's the Valley of Horses. Is actually, I think that's my favourite one. I really love that one. So that's what I'm reading kind of at bedtime. But the main thing that's on my bookshelf at the moment, I say sadly, but it's not really sadly, is... Oh, can we... Oh, and that way. Oh, gosh. Okay, that way. You get the gist.
What's going on?
I am back on Slimming World. I say back on. I've never spoken about this, and it seemed like an opportune time just to have a little chat about it. I did Slimming World about 13 years ago now. Yeah, 13 years ago. The year before I met Dan, I lost 4 stone, which in pounds is 56. I lost just over 4 stone actually. I think it was £60 I lost. I think I lost like 4 stone 3. And I've kept it off largely, but this last year, a bit's crept back on, and I think it's mainly just because of what's happened this last year, and my focus just wasn't on it, and you know how it goes. And I just feel like a big blob basically at the moment. So I need to get a stone. I need to lose a stone really, which is £14. I'd love to lose 20, but I'm not being too overly ambitious. So because I've done Slimming World before, and I know it's, it works for me, I picked up a couple of new recipe books, and I had this one originally, and I'm still using that one. But then I thought, I'll have a look at what other ones are out there. And we love Italian. So I've got an everyday Italian, and then a book which is just free foods. Now, if you know how Slimming World works, you'll understand the whole free foods thing. I mean, you might never have done Slimming World before. But it's not a point system. I can't be doing with the points ones, I'm afraid. And I can't be doing with calorie counting. You don't do any of that with Slimming World, and you don't weigh anything. You don't, there's no restrictions on amounts. It's based on...
So last night we had 14 tons of bacon.
No. You basically have green days or red days. And I think things have changed slightly in the years since I did it, but the principles of it are kind of the same. And on green days, you can have, it's a carbohydrate day, that's why I think of it. You can have as much fruit and vegetables as you want on any of the days. You eat those freely. And then on green days, you can have your carbohydrates, so potatoes, rice, pasta. And on your red days, you have meat and fish day, so you can have as much lean meat and fish as you want with all your fruits and vegetables. So you can have a little bit of carbs on a red day and vice versa. But the way I used to think of it is, you don't mix your carbs with your proteins. And then you can eat freely fruits and vegetables and anything that's a free food, which basically a free food tends to be things that are fat-free or very, very low in fat. Slimming World is basically that. It's a very low fat diet, and it worked incredibly well for me. I lost 60 pounds in 8 months. I started it in May, I remember, because it was before my birthday, and by Christmas, how many months is that? 7 months. By Christmas I'd lost it, and it did entirely change my life, I've got to say.
Yes.
It entirely changed my life. I mean, previous to it, I've always battled with being chubby and being heavy. My whole life I've always battled with it. From being like 8, I was always chubby. And, I was always the
some might say hefty.
Yeah, well, somebody once called me that, and that's, really what triggered me to lose the weight. So I should thank them, really. She was trying to distinguish, because I used to work in a branch. I worked in a bank, as you know, and I worked in a branch in Sheffield where there was 3 Ks. And one of the managers was talking about something one day, and it was referring to me. It was some job that we were doing, and she said, "Oh, which K is that? The hefty one?"
Nice.
And somebody told me that.
Also nice.
Yeah. So you can imagine the impact that had on me. And I am still that fat person. I shouldn't say fat, and I know that's quite offensive to some people, but I am still that person in my head, and I'll always be that chubby, hefty, overweight person. So it did completely change my life. I met Dan in the January that I just lost all this weight. And I mean, in fact, it was so bizarre because I went to a bank Christmas dinner that year, and, I got this beautiful long black dress. It was a size 12. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about what I looked like. All I knew in my head was I fit into a size 12, and I was just absolutely elated. I didn't think I'm different or anything like that. I was the same person. But I went to this bank dinner at Christmas, and people I've known for like 10, 15 years didn't recognise me, just walked past me.
What's a size 12 in American?
I think you're 2 sizes below, aren't you? So that would be an 8, I think. And so yeah, people just didn't recognise me. Just literally walked past me and didn't recognise me. And it kind of blew my mind, And then I met Dan in the January on a bank event again, and, he was talking to me and kind of interested in me, and I was totally puzzled by this. I was like, why does this tall, handsome, really interesting person who plays drums, why is he talking to me? Why is he even interested in me? I just couldn't fathom it at all. So, it did. I know for a fact, had I not lost that weight, we wouldn't be sat here today.
Of course we would.
We wouldn't.
We would.
We wouldn't. So, we're going to be doing some more walking, and I'm back on Slimming World. And I do recommend, if you haven't, and when I did it previously, what actually happened was one of the people I worked with was a Slimming World team leader. And she just decided one day and asked around at work and said, does anybody want to start a little group at work? And she just caught me. It was just a chance thing, and I was there, and I just went, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I completely, lived, breathed, everything was just based around me losing this weight. I've never been so focused on anything, I think, my whole life. And the first week I remember I lost 5 pounds the first week, and a lot of it's water. when you're as big as I was, you do lose a lot of water those first couple of weeks. But I lost every single week. I think there was just 1 week where I stayed the same, but I lost weight every single week. And I was the only one actually out of the group. I think there's about 6 of us. They all fell by the wayside, and didn't carry on. And I just carried on by myself. I just did it by myself. And I weighed myself every week and I kept a little book and everything. So I went out the other day and I bought the magazine as well, because this always has loads of really good recipes in it. And this month it's got Pub Grub Classics, which is definitely, there's quite a lot of stuff in there that, I'll be making. And it's just a really good read as well. It's got lots of inspirational stories, gives you a bit of motivation. So, if you've got any questions, I'm by no means an expert, but I did lose a lot of weight on it and it did work. So if you've got any questions, then feel free. But I'll keep you posted on how well I'm doing. So that's my target, and I want to lose it by August, by the time we go away. So I've set myself a really realistic goal. So
cool. That's me now.
Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's on your bookshelf?
Well, I think people will know, and I think I've mentioned before, Con Iggulden and the Emperor series. There's a series of books about Julius Caesar by the author Con Iggulden, and there's 4 books, and it basically it's historical fiction, although everything that happened, but obviously we don't know what he said to Brutus and how they spoke to each other. We know a fair bit, because they wrote so much down, but it's historical fiction, and they're really, really great books. Now, I finished those as fast as they came out, and I was looking for something else, and the reason why I picked this book is because this book starts out in 42 AD with the legion that we were when we marched over the Roman bridge earlier on in this episode. And at that time, that legion, the legate of that legion, was a guy called Vespasian. Now, you should know the name Vespasian if you saw our Rome special, because Vespasian was the emperor who finished off the Colosseum. So Vespasian is a big-time Roman emperor, but back then, in 42 AD, he was in charge of this legion, and this legion was just conquering Britain. And the book is called Under the Eagle. It's by a guy called Simon Scarrow. It's very well written because it's written in a way that you understand very clearly today. Some of the books are written in a probably more a more realistic way, and obviously the world has changed dramatically since the time that this book was written. So he writes it in a way which is easy to read. Now, when I first started reading Simon Scarrow, I didn't like him as much as Con Iggulden, and he isn't as good. Con Iggulden, you feel totally immersed. So they are stupendous. These books, I felt slightly less immersed. They're still very, very good, and I would still recommend them if you into your history. But I'd start probably with the Con Iggulden ones. Now, the other great thing about Simon Scarrow's books is he's written a lot more, so there's more to go at. Whereas Con Iggulden, he changed his focus and he started writing about Genghis Khan, which, they were interesting, but what periods of history am I interested in, Kay?
Roman?
Yes.
What did you just say? Genghis Khan, when was he? You've read some of his before, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I don't know what period that was. Oh, you're interested, you like Henry VIII and around that time? Tudors?
Yes.
What else?
American 60s.
Oh, right.
And I'll talk more about that on other episodes of other editions of What's on Your Bookshelf. So yeah, I'm big time interested in Roman history, in medieval history, specifically the Tudors and American 60s. But yeah, this book and this series of books, if you like Roman history, and actually if you just like a rip-roaring read, I suppose that's the definition actually. If you're big time into Roman stuff, you'll enjoy the Conigleton books more. If you're into just rip-roaring reads, thrillers, if you like, then all of these books fit.
Is it an easy read, I imagine?
Fit that genre. Yeah. It's a super easy read, whereas Conigleton, you have to work a little bit more for it.
Right.
But yeah, I picked this because it features that legion. They're great books, really good thrillers. If you like Roman stuff, start with Conigleton. If you like thrillers, go straight for these. Yes. So who are you?
Just finished a row.
Challenging for what's on their bookshelf.
What's on their bookshelf?
What is on their bookshelf? We don't know.
The reason I chose this person, other than the fact that it's somebody who recently has kind of introduced themselves to me and us, I guess.
They also partook in the Bankhead along.
Oh, yes. He's a male knitter, which we like.
Oh, we'll talk some more about that in a minute.
Yes. And he lives in a place that I think Jack Bauer went to in the last series, and I hope I'm right.
Or one of the series.
I think it was that last one. But
no, it can't be. That last one was in London.
Oh, it was. No, it can't be the last one.
So
it must
it'll be
be
the
one
series
before, because we watched that before we watched this latest one.
Mm.
Somebody tell me which series this place was from, and if I'm right. He lives in California in a place called, again, I don't know if it's Visalia. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
And I'm guessing he's guessed who he is now.
He might have
How disappointing, though. We apologise to anyone else in the county or the town of Visalia who is now jumping around, going, it's me.
There isn't the knitting mill. It's Mill. And like I said, he's from Visalia. Well, how would I say that?
Visalia.
Visalia, I think I would say. Tell me if I'm right, Mill, if you might not watch 24 and you might not have a clue what I'm talking about. But if Jack Bauer went there, he had to go on a plane and somebody was there and they wanted to meet him in Visalia. I'm sure. I'm probably wrong. But pop over to the forums. Mill, tell us what you're reading.
Post a picture.
Post a picture if you like of your book.
Yes. The thread's dead good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm learning lots, and it's really interesting to see.
We like an active thread.
Reading. Yeah. What's cool? I was surprised at the amount of sort of Tudor reading that's going on, and also as well, it seems to be very popular with the ladies.
It does.
Which
there's quite a few female writers, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, Alison Weir, Philippa Gregory.
Yeah.
The one I always forget the name of that. It's Forced. Is it Forced? Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to double check her name. But my favourite writer is. I really like Alison Weir. Philippa Gregory's okay, but it's I'm sure her surname's Forster. And her books are just great. So I'll talk about that on another episode, though. But I was so shocked at that. I didn't expect so many ladies to be into reading those types of books. I don't know why. It's not for a sexist reason.
No.
I just didn't expect it.
I do see them as boy books, I guess. But that's silly, isn't it, really, in this day and age?
So Knitting Mill. Thanks for being so cool on the forums. He's super cool.
Yeah, he's very sweet.
We're into our indie bits.
Are we?
Yeah, and in the first thing I want to do in our
what
indie
about the
bits,
exciting bits?
Well, that can be in the indie bits. Yeah, the first thing I want to do in the indie bits. There's two important things that I have to talk about in the indie bits. The first one is the Christmas special. For those of you who've seen the Christmas special, I know we apologised at the time, but I want to apologise again for the challenges that we had.
Oh, yeah.
It's spooky, right? The footage that I filmed at Nana Wendy's house was corrupt. And YouTube the first thing is I couldn't get it into my editing software. So I had to use a workaround to get it into the editing software. And then the second thing was I got it into the editing software. I edited it as best I could, made it look as good as it could. And then I tried to upload it to YouTube, and YouTube wouldn't accept it. I can't remember. Oh, I know what I did then. So YouTube wouldn't accept it. So I thought, right, okay, what I'll do is I'll try and turn it into just a file, just a normal film file for the computer. So I did that. And I found the exact moment when the problem was, and it was about 42 minutes in. It was when we sat on the sofa, and Wendy is showing, I think she might have been showing the Bayer tapestry thing.
Right.
So it just stopped. So 42 minutes in, so I had 42 minutes of relatively okay footage, but still there was major sound issues. So then what I had to do was, I had to play the film, the corrupt film, on the screen of my computer. I had to do a screen recording, and I had to record the sound live through the speakers on the computer. It was completely insane.
It's mad.
It took hours and hours and hours. And I mean, I'm shocked that we even managed to get something up, but we did. So apologies for that. But something fruity was going on at Nana Wendy's.
And it was just when we were there.
Yeah. All the other footage.
I think it's that damp house.
It was 1600s, no, it was spooky. Someone wasn't happy about us filming.
They weren't.
Now, another thing, so I said two things I had to talk about. The other thing was, we never said how old Nana Wendy was.
We never did.
We asked you, and some people said some things which will make you Nana Wendy's friend till the end of time. Did Kimmy Knit say about your sister or something? Yeah.
I mean, bearing in mind Danny's 40 this year, you kind of just got to work out the maths a little bit.
I'm
and he's
39.
The youngest. You're not. You're 40 this year.
But I'm currently 39.
Gosh, I mean, really. Wish I was.
Nana Wendy, this year, how old was she? Boxing Day, 74.
No, she's not 74. She
How
can't
old?
be.
She was born in 1940.
She was 74.
She's 74.
She's 74. Yeah.
She plays tennis most days.
She does. She cycles.
She goes walking in the Quantox.
She swims.
She's insane. She's fitter than me.
And she was actually diagnosed with lupus as well fairly recently.
It's about 5 years ago.
Was it 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't think she realised for some time, did she? And she takes tablets every day for it now, and she's fine.
But it was a bit like me when I was ill. She has to stay away from sick people.
Yeah.
So she's got to watch out for. But yeah, she's 74. So thanks everyone for playing that game.
Everybody will be going, I can't believe you told
74.
everybody.
No. I think you get to an age when you look as good as Nana Wendy, where you're quite happy to go, I'm 74. Yay! Now, interesting us talking about birthdays.
Sorry, just looking up the next colour I'm doing.
Interesting we're talking about birthdays. Because that picks up very nicely on what's happening in October.
Very exciting.
What is happening in October?
We didn't speak about this last time. I don't know why we didn't, but this year it will be our 10th wedding anniversary in August. Bryony will be 10 in October.
Oh,
and
naughty.
Dan will
Naughty.
Work that one out. And
not the reason we got married.
No, it wasn't the reason we didn't have to get married. No, we're not. It's not 1940.
Shotgun wedding,
42
baby.
or something. And Dan will be 40 in October. So we've got all these events coinciding in the same year. And we said a few years ago when we realised, we said we've got to do something that year. So what we've actually done is 2 years ago, we went on holiday in the summer to a Chatsworth holiday cottage, not the one we went to last year, a different one. But it was lovely.
Super cool.
Really, really beautiful
Down
cottage.
Down
by a river. Really,
massive garden.
Really pretty place.
Inches away from the Monsell Trail.
Yeah.
Which is the most stunning thing which you will see.
And it's 2 cottages joined together. And we thought, gosh, we could get both of them And Nana Wendy and Grandpa Steve could have one, and we could have the other.
So, for an episode later on this year, Nana Wendy will be back by popular demand.
And it's got like a big shared garden that runs down to a river.
And
really
it's
big garden.
Yeah, and it's away from... There's only one
There's
other
one
little
house next to it, which we're not going to worry about,
And there's nothing else.
There's nothing else around it. So we thought, gosh, we could rent both of them, and we can invite... Because it's in Derbyshire, so it's close to my family. It's not too bad for your family. So, and friends as well, our friends, and so we can invite everybody and have like a garden party. I mean, it's at the end of October, so you can't rely on the weather. But
we'll have 2 houses.
There's 2 houses.
So worst case scenario, the kids can have one house, and the adults can have the other.
So,
but the best bit is
we're having a theme. What do you think the theme is? Do the music.
It is.
You could do the music now.
No, I couldn't.
Oh, right. Oh, you can't put the music in.
Because I will get copyright alerted by Lucasfilm.
Denise didn't. I told you she put Puppy Love on the last thing. She played the whole thing and it went through YouTube. I said, how did you do that?
Well, I mean...
That was so... I mean, she's lucky that went through. Denise, you're lucky you sneaked that through with copyright. Well done.
I've given it away. It's a Star Wars theme.
Star Wars. We're having a Star Wars theme.
So the Star Wars theme as in fancy dress.
Fancy dress, yeah.
So who should I go as?
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it that way. Maybe.
But I've told you who I want you to go as.
Who?
Well, my favourite is Han Solo. I love Han Solo.
Right, okay. But I really like Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett.
Boba Fett's my favourite.
Who am I going to go as if you go with Boba Fett?
Aura Singh.
Who? I'm not having anybody from the newer ones. I'm sorry. I'm old school.
No. You see, but if you're Princess Amidala, which is what I think you were going to go as...
I was, but the makeup's a bit
I'd have to be...
crazy, isn't it, for her?
Princess Amidala.
Isn't she the one that has a white face with...
Only when she's in regal wear.
Oh, right.
You could go as Padme Amidala, where she's just dressed...
As what?
Well, it's just more normal. It's still Star Warsy.
Right, okay. Bryony wants to go as Yoda, so that'll be interesting.
And Nana Wendy and Grandpa Steve are going as Princess Leia and Han Solo.
What? Your mum's going as Princess Leia?
Yes.
I cannot believe she stole my thunder.
Why? You're Princess
Amidala.
Amidala.
I hadn't decided I wanted to be Leia. That's why I wanted to lose more weight.
You could still be Princess Leia. And this is
I can't believe she's stolen the key role.
She's not stealing the key role. Think about it. The new film comes out in December this year with an older Princess Leia.
But how will she know what she's dressed like?
By that time, I'm sure there'll be things
okay.
that... So she could be older Princess Leia. Kay could be younger Princess Leia. Actually, this is a good idea. I'll do you a deal. I'll go as Han, in the carbonite scene, yeah. So I'll wear the white, the white thing with the sort of button down thing and the cool black trousers. Oh. You have to wear the bikini.
Oh, shut up!
Good
in what world would that ever happen?
In my 40th birthday world. That's what world.
You can dream on, mate. That's not gonna happen, is it?
But yeah, I
mean, if I lost 3 stone, I wouldn't look like her.
Oh, you're such a fool.
Well, won't be doing that.
Well, I can't say what I want to say because it'll be...
No. So, exciting. So, Star Wars party.
But I think there should be a debate as to who we should go
There should. Please let us know in the episode thread who you think.
Yeah, Ravelry.
I'm happy. Oh, do you know what I need? I need Sam to come over and do my makeup.
No, where?
Oh,
yeah, she's
Sam.
amazing. Yeah.
That would be so cool. And then I could have the whole weird makeup thing, couldn't I, and hair. Do you think you could pop over end of October?
Nice.
We'll give you some food and there's a spare bed in Bryony's room.
Well, for some nights. Because
hopefully, yeah.
But anyway, we need to talk about our March knit-along.
We do. Should we mention the other exciting thing first, talking about holidays?
Oh, okay.
Should we just mention that? And then we were talking, this is very gossipy, this episode, isn't it? I hope you're not all bored. we were talking about what to do in the summer holidays, and
Because we can't go to Derbyshire because
can't
we're
go to
going
Derbyshire as
for my birthday.
we did last year, because we're going in October. And as much as I would go every week, as everybody knows, I would go every week to Chatsworth. We can't really go in August when we're going in October. So we had a think and looked at some places, didn't we? And we stick to this country really. We don't like going too far afield at the moment.
We're not fond of flying.
No. And travelling at the moment is not good with me. But anyway, we're going to go to Hadrian's Wall. Dan found a cottage.
My whole life, right? When I go to Hadrian's Wall, as you will do in 2 episodes.
Just wait till you see where this cottage is.
If you haven't seen Hadrian's Wall, I mean, first things first, in preparation for episode 20, that's not our dog.
No.
In preparation for episode 20, please watch Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah, the film Arthur with Clive Owen.
I thought you meant like with Dudley Moore.
No, not Dudley Moore.
Why would they watch that?
Watch Arthur. Watch Under the Eagle. Not Under the Eagle. What's it called? The Eagle of the Ninth.
Yeah.
The Channing Tatum film.
Yeah.
All of these films have Hadrian Wall in. And the best one of all to watch, which I think we've mentioned before, is watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
The bit where he and Azim are walking to Nottingham. Somehow they managed to walk from so the UK is here, Dover is here, Nottingham is here.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, Robin, and Azim walk like this
up there.
across Hadrian's Wall on their way to Nottingham.
Amazing.
And something which we're going to show you actually when we go to these cottages, we will show you Sycamore Gap. Mm-hmm. And Sycamore Gap is in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
When they stop and they have a chat and there's a big tree and Hadrian's Wall goes up and up like that, and there's a tree, a sycamore here, and they're having a conversation. I can't remember what about.
Azim is praying.
That's right.
Azim is praying on the top.
And he's
near
saying,
the wall.
"Where is the sun in this godforsaken land?" Something like that, was it?
Yeah. And Robin, that's when Robin meets Guy of Gisborne.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And here's a 24 link. Guy of Gisborne was the guy
yes,
from the last
was.
Series of 24.
He
It's the guy in charge of the hacker people.
But anyway, this cottage that we found, it's a national trust property. They own a load of properties. I think they converted houses that were all on the various different properties that they owned, and they rent them out now as holiday cottages. It's really beautiful. It's quite big. It's 3 bedrooms, and it's right in Housestead's Roman fort, which is
on the wall.
Right on the wall. And we've been
my whole life I've wanted to stay in a cottage on Hadrian's Wall because there's nowhere like it other than Rome itself. Other than if you stood in the middle of the Roman Forum, there's nowhere else like it on earth.
And
I love it.
We've been to Housesteads a few times before, haven't we? And normally you have to park right at the bottom and walk up,
quite a trek,
up, because it's on the top of like a hill. But this cottage is right up there, and obviously you can drive up to it and park and everything. And it looks really beautiful.
So you can go walking. You can step out of your house and go walking on Hadrian's Wall.
You look out of the window and the fort is right there. So Bryony's flipping out. She's like, "Oh my god!"
So
we're going there in August.
Our Roman triplet, as we've established, we've done Piercebridge. Next episode we're going to Chester's, and then the episode after that we're going to Walltown Crags. We'll then do other favourite places to knit, but then summer we'll do a massive Roman special. We'll go to Housesteads, we'll go to Vindolanda, and we'll look at the car. They found postcards from Romans, and actually there's postcards there, and they go on about, I've sent you some socks and some pants, and hope you're okay, and it's not too cold.
And like, will you come to this party and things like that. When we say postcards, it's on a stone tablet.
I don't think.
Aren't they?
I don't think they were stone. I think there was something else.
Aren't they called?
It's like a wooden
tablets of somewhere or other.
They are called tablets, but I think they're.
Oh, is it wood?
It's wood.
Oh, it's wood.
Yeah,
right.
That's what they used to write their notes on. It'd be square bits of wood, and then often get posted, just like we do. Well, except we use paper now, which of course comes from wood. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be cool.
So that's the other exciting thing.
Can we talk about the knit-along?
Let's talk about the knit-along. We're going to be doing a knit-along. I'll put this down. I love this bit. I'm picking up stitches on log cabins. This is my favourite bit. I love doing it. I don't know why. Oh, I love it. There's a new podcast.
There is.
I think he's on his 3rd episode now, isn't he?
He's just done his 2nd.
Sorry, yes, that's what I meant, sorry. There's 2 out there. And it's Nick's Knits. And he's fantastic.
When you're searching for it, it's Knits.
Yeah. And
we sat down to watch it, didn't we?
yeah, and
Nick connected with me ages ago because he's a chorister and I was a chorister, and there's general similarities between the two of us, apart from age, of course.
And he's 14, and when you see the things that he's knitting and the yarn he's buying and the way he talks about things, he's very knowledgeable. He's amazing, and we really want to encourage him. And did he come? Yes, he did. He asked us, didn't he?
What about?
If we wanted to do a knit along, did he?
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah. I couldn't remember which way around it was. Sorry.
He asked us.
Yes, and he said he wanted to do a knit along, and he had an idea. And did we want to do it jointly with him?
We said no, get lost.
We hadn't planned on doing any knit-alongs in the near future, but we thought, do you know what? I love the theme.
Because Nick rules.
I love the theme of it, and
what is the theme?
He's really fantastic. We are going to be doing a sock knit-along.
What's it called?
It is called Spring into Socks.
Oh.
So
that's why I'm going to start my socks now. So by the time the knit-along finishes, I'll finish them.
So we're going to be starting the knit-along on the 1st of March, and it will end at the end of April. So we've got 2 months. And it's the spring months, and I think Nick loves knitting socks, doesn't he? And he's like, oh, let's do a knit along.
So get thinking about what socks you're going to do.
Yeah, and I said I've done a pattern before called Spring Forward. It's a free pattern. It's on my project page if you want to look at it. It's a green pair of socks that I knit for a friend. So I might do that again, but I also pulled out a few skeins when I was thinking about it. I thought, I might knit these up. And just to tell you briefly the rules. So 1st of March is cast on, end of April. There will be some prizes. Two
from us, 2 from Nick.
Yeah, 2 from us, 2 from me. You can double dip.
Yes.
So enter it into ours and Nick's and vice versa. It'll be 1 entry per person. So that could just be 1 pair of socks, or if you knit more than 1 pair, you can just go in and edit your post and add that other pair. But it's just 1 entry per person. We thought would be best. But you can knit 4 pairs if you want, just all add them into the same entry. And we'll go through the rules closer to the time, we just wanted to let you know so you can start thinking about what patterns and, let's chat away. I'll open a thread.
And in preparation for the knit along, go and watch Nick's Knits podcast because it's great.
Him. I just watched his 2nd episode the other day, and he's really engaging to watch. And I just really, really enjoyed the podcast. It was excellent, Nick. So,
well done.
Well done. And good for you for having the guts just to do it.
Why are you holding that?
Sorry, I went through my stash and I thought, what am I going to... It's exciting planning. I think planning is more exciting.
What are you planning?
In some way. Socks!
Right, okay.
So I pulled out a few skeins of what I might use. I'll probably change my mind before then, but I just thought I'd show you. This was the first one that I thought I might use.
No, I don't like that.
And it's Marigold Jen, and my friend Sally sent me this at Christmas. Look at the colours. They're brighter than that. They're coming out much a bit duller than they actually are. And this is Silver Lining. She sent me this at Christmas. So I love this. So I might use this one, Sally. And then I also might use this one, which is one of my favourite. It's Uncommon Thread again, Tough Sock. It's my favourite. And this is Into Dust. Colourway, and I just love, I told you I was into like these lavender colours. I just love these really soft lavenders at the minute, which is highly bizarre for me, but so I might do that one. And then I've got this one recently, and I love this, and it's from Juliana's Fibre. It's the Lucky Star, and it's
a song.
Yeah, it is, isn't
Madonna.
it? Yeah. And the colourway's Above the Clouds. Can you see the sparkle? Oh my goodness, you can see it. Look at that. It's just beautiful. So I really, really want to use this one. So I might use this one too. Oh, it's fantastic. So they were the 3 ones that I just kind of pulled out that I might use.
Finished?
I think so.
Just while we've mentioned, because male podcasters are or singular male podcasters are rare, aren't they? There was a couple of others that have jumped out to us recently. One of them was Benjamin Crudwig's podcast.
Benjamin Crudwig, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely worth a watch, folks.
He's great.
Yeah, he's cool. Does some designing. Where does he work?
He works for Shacked. Have I got that right, Benjamin? Because I kind of, when you first said it, I didn't quite catch what you did, but I think what he does, and please correct me, he does like all the social media and everything in that kind of era for Shacked. So yeah, I think that's what you do. Please, tell me if I'm wrong.
And I think Benjamin's doing something a bit different with his podcast now. Because I think I've got this right, that he films live and does it on Google Hangouts, and you can ask questions and all sorts, which is pretty cool. But he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He used to sing in choirs, didn't he?
Oh, right.
And things, and yeah, really, really interesting.
And he got married recently. He's only been married for a few months.
Posted a good picture the other day, which was really sweet.
Really lovely picture of his wedding. It's beautiful.
But then last night.
Oh gosh, we had such a laugh last night watching this.
Now, if you were to create a podcast specifically for me, what would you include in it? Shout out now. Shout out. Yep. Star Wars, correct. What else might you include? Who said music? Yes, you are correct. And finally, what might you throw in? Knitting, of course. There is a podcast that marries all of these three things together in perfect harmony. And that's Knitting Julian.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Epic. He's a legend already. I want to be him.
I was putting Bryony to bed and I came downstairs and he went, "Oh my God, you've got to watch this podcast. He's amazing." I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, it's perfect.
It was really funny. I mean, we were really laughing.
And the boy can knit.
He can knit, yeah, absolutely. He's German. You're in Germany.
He is a good musician.
Yeah,
I mean, I've played in plenty of bands. I've played with plenty of guitarists, and you can just tell by the way he holds his 6-string ukulele. Zena should check him out.
Yeah.
It's epic. Julian, first of all, apologies, because I'm sure you messaged me at some point on Instagram about something a while ago. You should have said, "Look at my podcast, fool," because I'd have looked in a second. But isn't it exciting when you just come across?
Yeah, and they're only short. They're really short, and
some are like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But like his full-on ones are like 20 minutes long. So it's a great blast. Really well produced.
Yeah.
Really well put together.
Yeah, and just
laugh out loud moments.
The ones we were watching.
It's different,
last night
isn't it?
are really different, and just. It's so funny. So thank you, Julian. You really gave me a massive laugh last night, which has been much needed just lately.
You're a legend. Already.
And I love. We showed it Bryony this morning with your bears, and she was like, she was going, huh? I won't say what happened.
You've got to watch it. Episode 3. It's so funny.
And I love Julian. I love your accent.
Yeah.
I just think it's just fantastic.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so cool.
I think you're fantastic.
Julian, if we were closer together, I want to be in your band.
My brother lives in Germany, so you'll have to tell me which bit of Germany you're in.
Yeah, is it close to...
My brother lives near Dusseldorf, I think.
Willich?
Willich. He lives in Willich. My brother, so, yeah.
Well, I think we better finish.
I don't think there's anything else.
No,
I think we've
covered
got
all the bases.
Like I said, we'll talk more about the knit along as we get closer.
So I hope you enjoyed episode 18 of the Bakery Bears podcast.
Yep.
I'm
going to go and make a Slimming World lunch now.
Oh, now for lunch, could you make me one of those hemp and fennel sandwiches again?
What?
I'm being naughty.
What are you talking about?
I'm parodying Molly from the Homespun House podcast.
Oh, Molly.
Molly, what was that sandwich you made? Was that in the bread? Or what did you put in it?
I'm not sure.
Chickpea and
something
a seed
else.
Of some sort.
We were like, how's she going to make that?
I want to see Instagram pictures and a recipe.
I think it was more of a hummus thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds interesting.
See, that would be lovely.
I need to know.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
No, we'll be having something without any fat in whatsoever. Well, I will.
A nice soup.
Dan doesn't need to lose anything.
And tomorrow we shall go for a walk. We posted a few pictures on. I'll throw some in maybe at the end here so they can see. We went for a walk in a place called the Sheep Wash, which is near to a place called North Allerton and Osmotherley, all in the Cleveland Hills. And what's so cool about this place is my mum used to go there. My mum used to live in North Allerton, and she used to go there when she was a teenager. And she says she has pictures, so we will find those pictures.
It's called the Sheep Wash because that's where all the farmers used to take their sheep to wash them in the river there.
Yeah, it's actually called Codbeck.
Oh, really?
But everyone knows
Everyone calls it Sheep Wash.
Since the dawn of time.
The sign actually says Sheep Wash area when you're coming into it.
But it's Codbeck.
So
Codbeck doesn't sound as nice as the Sheep Wash, does it?
It doesn't, no.
We'll see you for episode 19.
Sorry, I'm still knitting.
Very soon.